So I was perusing the shop today, and something really interesting came by. Seawolf Jonesy was added to the game, which provides a brand new ability perk to the game. Surprisingly enough, if you didn't know this, Shockwave didn't actually have somebody that buffed damage before, and now we finally have it, which is funny because Shockwave already did like 88,000 before, in my loadout at least, where in the 140 zone solo I was hitting about 88,000 damage. It seems to be what it was, and with Seawolf in the support, or in the lead, both of them are 55%, which sounds peculiar because 55% in both support and the lead wouldn't make sense, but he also activates it a second time, which is interesting. I'm going to get into my opinions afterwards, but initially it's exactly as you see. You hit Shockwave once, and then you smack the ground, and then you smack the ground again. And my opinion here is that I think you should have a charge like the drones, for example, where when you upgrade it all the way, you have two drones, and you could throw it whenever you want. Well, with the Shockwave, it would be nice if you could time that second Shockwave to be something a little bit easier, but regardless, what we have right now is exactly that. So that extra 55% being the same in the commander and the support makes sense because you're shockwaving a second time, thus, well, doubling the damage that you did, and it's kind of cool. I don't know how useful that's going to be as a lead, but something was pointed out to me that I thought was very interesting. So coming back to my heroes here, if I manage, I'm not going to show all of these like in a very quick, timely manner, but what I've noticed, and Han pointed out really, was Buccaneer Jonesy and the Seawolf guy are the only two heroes that I could find that have Shockwave, Lefty and Righty, and Warcry, which might sound like a really random combo, but it's really rare. I think, yeah, that's another Buccaneer Jonesy. I don't know who all has this, but it's very uncommon to say the least. And that's good because Shockwave is very good if you have Archetype Havoc. So if I can show him again, these are dungeon topics right now because Archetype allows you to increase your movement speed after you use your Shockwave. And if you can use your Shockwave to increase your movement speed and be able to pop a Warcry, which can also increase people's movement speed and, you know, just buff everybody's damage in general, you can be really effective in dungeons. And then you also have Lefty and Righty, which is really good against mini-bosses, bigger targets, monoliths. It's a very great hero if you want to run dungeons. Now, I'm not saying dungeons is the only place this is useful, but I've been interested in dungeons recently. I've been running it a little bit. I've been making some videos on it recently, if you haven't noticed, and that is kind of a factor to me personally, but if you're watching this in the future and dungeons aren't a thing, then rest assured, Seawolf Jonesy's Lefty and Righty is a great way to bridge the gap between Shockwave. So what I've been trying to do with this guy is to Shockwave a bigger target like a Smasher, then maybe deplete my shield with short fuse, and then Shockwave twice again, and then pop a Warcry and a Lefty and Righty. Yeah, I didn't have enough energy. I tried my best, but that's way too many things to chain together all at once. So honestly, I guess Lefty and Righty is something that you could really spec into. I didn't personally make a loadout for it. I could if you guys are interested, but I can show you what I use to speedrun dungeons. This is not a perfect Lefty and Righty loadout. Hand cannons is something new that's recent, and you can use her in the same build. I think that might have been what they were going for, and there are some great combos that can come out of this, but my focus today is really Seawolf Jonesy and not the potential best loadout you could add for him. So I would like for you guys to experiment with that on your own, try out some Lefty and Righty builds, maybe make him a bit stronger in that respect. I focused mainly on his Shockwave today, and that is where I'm going to get into. And so I tested it initially with him in the lead. I wanted to see how he performed. You can see right now I have Explosive Entrance on this, and that is cool. I think it's really nice to have that. I think she is a great replacement to what I was using earlier. You can see I was using Explosive Optimization, which is from the Chinese New Year chick, Onslaught Headhunter. They really never did change her name, huh? Okay, that's an old name, but yeah, the energy cost isn't necessarily something I needed when I was just running Shockwave with Happy Holidays, so I did think that Explosive Entrance might have been a bit more useful if you're running Seawolf Jonesy in the lead, but what I ended up settling on was kind of exactly a hybrid of my Shockwave video. I'm surprised that we are almost 4 minutes into this video and I haven't plugged that yet, but that's kind of what I'm manipulating here, because if you watch that video and watch my Shockwave video, you can effectively copy everything I showed in that video and how I suggested you use this hero, but then just throw them in support to make everything I said there 55% stronger, because as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the damage from the Shockwave, at least on my end, from my personal experience, went from about 88,000 to about 130,000, which is, yeah, about the 55% you'd expect, and it really is just a better version of what we already had available, and this is kind of where I landed. You don't need Explosive Entrance, so I'm actually going to change that real quick. So to be able to decrease your energy cost and have everything in here is pretty much what you need. But the energy cost is only really necessary if you're really spamming Shockwave a lot. It only does take about 20 energy per, so I'm going to honestly go back on myself again and just say Explosive Entrance is probably a better way to go, just to maximize the amount of extra damage you're getting. Because in my experience from my missions, it was doing about 54,000 damage, and then about 27,000 damage to elementals, so 3 of those popping out every time is a lot of extra damage and kind of a nice thing to have. So all in all, I do think he's a good hero. I think he's a great addition to the game. I think it's nice that Shockwave is going to get a little bit better. I did mention I wish his commander perk was a little bit different and gave you a charge so you could time it, maybe space it out a little bit more often instead of just Shockwaving twice and then waiting for a little while. But nevertheless, I think it is a good addition to the game, and his abilities make him a very, very well-rounded hero, and I think we might be seeing a little bit more of this guy in the future, especially in the dungeons. Now, one last thing I did want to mention before we get out of here was Archetype Havoc once again. I tested this with Han, who pointed out the abilities earlier, and I wanted to see if that movement speed could stack. I was like, you know, we've never been able to use 2 Shockwaves before that 8 seconds ran out. Can we get that to go to 80% maybe? We cannot. No. It seemed like Han and I were running the exact same speed, and I didn't feel any faster after the second Shockwave, so unfortunately you do only get the normal 40%. I don't know how many people were going to ask that question or even knew that that might have been a thing, but from what I could tell, yeah, it seems like his movement speed works as intended. It would be nice if that doubled up and you could go super speed for 8 seconds, but oh, I hope and I dream. That's it for me, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I kind of glossed over the bundle bus here, but I talked more about this weapon in the video in the description below for the best uses of the bundle bus and the best perks for the bundle bus. As of recording, both of those videos are up to date, so you guys should check those out and get yourself a bundle bus. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, you should come on over here, use code Mista in the item shop, support the channel. Have a nice day, and thanks for watching. And then